Getting back in the groove of practice, got to starting the game plan stuff and just getting the basis of it in. And got to get back in the flow of things. Got 3 really good days here, hopefully, that we can capitalize on and be ready to go when we get out there. It's like we're doing a normal game week, but for the most part, a good solid day. And we'll hopefully get better each day and get back in the groove and really dot I's, cross T's, and lock into what we're doing. So hopefully guys will be ready to do that next couple of days. I think they will. So, questions?
You start doing some Auburn prep this week?
Oh yeah, we'll start a game plan. We'll start cranking hard now.
I assume Franklin is playing Marshall?
Yeah, he's played scout team for us all year. Done a great job on guys.
With a kid like him who might be faster than Marshall, I mean, he's a legit
he's
track guy.
he's a lit 10.5, 10.6 guy, yeah.
That's got to help, right?
Oh, it does. It create the tempo and the speed. I mean, still, Mick's a great player. He's strong, he's big. I mean, you never simulate games, but as he says, the guy, the type of speed and athleticism you have to deal with.
Right.
How different is it preparing for that type of offense? If it were like in the middle of a season as opposed to having some time between games.
I think it's like anything. Just like you do when you do Georgia Tech. People do Georgia Tech. People do the old wishbone stuff. I mean, it definitely the time helps, but it also allows them to put things in too. So it's a double-edged sword when you go that way. So, but the time definitely helps. There's no doubt.
When you have a team that runs the ball that much, I don't want to say one-dimensional, but they do what they do well. How important is it to establish momentum early and get an early lead, something like that, so that way?
I think it is no matter what you do. I think anytime you can establish leads and get out in front of people, you put pressure on people. I mean, I think that's always in any sport, no matter what they do. But I mean, it's whoever's the start and the finish both will be very important when it comes to it.
Is that more emphasized though when they're?
No, not any more so than.
Jimbo, one of the things that's been emphasized a lot in the national media is Auburn's running and what they get done with it. Is Florida State's running attack being overlooked a little bit, you think?
Well, I guess we're going to show up and play.
Talking about your backs, so they were.
I'm very pleased with those guys. As I say, that's one of the things I think it makes us complete. That we are a balanced team. We can throw and make plays, but we can run the football. We run it on short yardage. We run it on the goal line. We run it coming off big plays. I mean, there's been a lot of big rushing touchdowns. There've been as many rushing touchdowns as there have passing touchdowns, and more. If I'm not mistaken, it might be more. And so I don't know off the top of my head, but our numbers on the ground are good, and we're always going to have balance, and it's going to be critical to be able to run the ball.
And your 3 backs that you utilized, one was kind of not heavily recruited. You discovered him young, early, maybe junior year, and the other 2 were potentially defensive players. In fact, one was here.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about what goes into those type of kids and how they end up playing with them.
Well, I mean, you're natural. To me, running back is a natural position. You're either natural with the ball or you're not. I think it's one of the more easier positions to evaluate as far as how natural he is with football. And I always felt Carlos was coming out of high school. I felt it from the very first day, but I wanted to let him establish and see how he did on it because he was a great defensive player too. James, the same way. Everybody told me he was going to be a linebacker, but when you watch James run and the teams he ran against, it was big time. You know what I'm saying? So, and then of course, Devontae always played running back, but I always felt those other 2 guys were running backs the whole time we were recruiting. No, it was y'all that questioned me. Oh no, all the recruiting guys, huh?
Chad Abrams is the guy that you said you feel like could play at the next level. How has he progressed throughout the season?
Very good. I mean, Chad's got his tremendous ball skills. He's really evolved as a blocker and understanding our schemes and where he fits and how he's got to block. He's big, he's physical, he's athletic, becoming an edge blocker, and he's very physical inside. I like how he's blocking inside too. I mean, I've been extremely pleased with his progress.
And you still feel like he has a chance to be able to?
Oh yeah, I do. I think somebody will sign him. He'll get in camp and play. Whether he gets drafted later, I don't know what will happen, but I think he'll definitely get a shot.
Did he play offense in high school?
A little, not a lot.
But when you recruited him, you didn't necessarily see, he could.
No, I didn't. So we thought, it's his safety as a linebacker or something of that nature. We knew he's a dual sport guy, could run in space. And when he got here and watched him catch the ball and move around, just thought he could do that.
Right. Do you ever worry about guys coming back after a couple of days off, getting back in focus?
Oh yeah, you definitely do. You got to get your body back when you've taken a couple of days and haven't ran to the levels that you need to run at here. It does affect you, and that's why I say take a day or so, we'll get back in the groove.
Seeing him come off, how's Jacob Coker coming along?
Good. He weights back on, rehabbing. Weights back on as far as being able to walk on it now that it was a non-weight bearing issue for a while. So he's been great, and I think he's progressing very nicely.
It's tough for a guy, to get put in as much work as he has and not really be able to be.
Oh yeah, it's disappointing. I mean, there's a lot of guys like that. Football, unfortunately, this is a sport that, it doesn't become fair sometimes. A lot of the guys that work the hardest have those tough injuries, and we would love to have him. I mean, my Lord, he's a great player, but. Unfortunately, it's one of the downsides of this game.
So back to your backs for a minute. How about just giving them enough touches? Has that been one of the bigger challenges, or how's that worked out?
No, because they don't care. They're unselfish. just making sure the right guys get the ball for what schemes we're running and how we want to do it. And we want to make sure certain guys get a certain number of touches. But the thing about those guys, they're very unselfish. Still think at the same time you can't let it overwhelm you to where it tightens you up so much. You got to have fun. You got to enjoy the trip. And when it's time to work, it's time to work. When it's time to play, it's time to play. And I think that's one thing this team has done a really good job of.
And you think, I mean, practices out there, are they going to be as intense as they
Oh,
are
you're
here?
daggone right they
Yeah.
will. We're going to bang and get guys. You got to keep that game speed. You got to keep the ability to play fast, and that's what I say. Be able to tackle in space, play in space against good players. And sometimes when you go against scout teams, the tempo of that is never the same. So that's something that's very critical and always, to me, affects bowl games.
Right.
You know, one of the biggest things that we don't talk about.
You're an enthusiastic person. How the hell is all this excitement? I mean, it's something you've strived for probably for the last 20
It has,
25.
but I mean, it's fun. But I guess when you're in the moment, you don't let yourself enjoy. I mean, I'm not saying you don't enjoy it, but you got to stay focused on what you're doing, and we'll reflect on it when it gets
But
done.
with your personality, is that hard for you to do?
No, it's easy to stay locked in.
I know we've asked about Mario Pender a lot, but any more update on his status, of Mario's availability or anything like that?
No, but I doubt Mario being conditioned to do, because we kept him out, we kept him in the academics so much. He won't play in the game. Being in practice with him, do everything, he won't play in the game.
So you cross the board, are you all right with everything in terms of academics?
Oh yes,
Okay, so you're gonna be basically full strength for this ball game.
Yes, sir.
If you stay healthy.
yes sir, yes sir.
Is this the best team you've ever coached at this point in time?
I don't know. I mean, we'll wait and see. But this team, it's playing as well as any I've coached with as much consistency over a long period of time. I mean, I'll say that. And hopefully, we'll continue to do that.